Hello. Hello. Kindly unmute your mic, sir. Hello. Hello. नहीं सर, आप माइक जो है वो आप अनम्यूट जो है वो कर दीजिए। आप माइक अनम्यूट कर दीजिए सर। आप ज्वाइन तो हो गए सर है?
हाँ ठीक ठीक, अभी देखिए।
हाँ सर, आप
हेलो।
हेलो।
हाँ योगेश।
Yes sir, I am audible to you.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
I am make you co-host.
Okay.
Okay. So just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
डॉक्टर योगेश।
Yes sir. Yes sir.
if you आप मुझे होस्ट बना देंगे तो फिर मुझे दिक्कत होगी ना, फिर सबको इन मुझे करना पड़ेगा।
नहीं sir, I am made you co-host, sir.
Okay.
You can share your presentation, sir.
Okay.
Just wait a minute, sir. Are you ready, sir, from your side?
My screen is visible.
Yes sir. Yes sir. Sir, let me introduce you first, so that I can introduce you to all the participants. So, good afternoon, all the participants of this Atal FDP program. So, the topic of our FDP program is numerical simulation and soft computing techniques in advanced manufacturing processes under the thrust area 3D printing and design. So, first of all, our first speaker, that is Dr. Vinod Yadav. He is currently working as assistant professor in mechanical engineering department of Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology. He received his B from Government Engineering College, Riga, Madhya Pradesh, and after that he received MTech and PhD degree from Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. He had more than 5 years of experience in teaching and research, and he has also undertaken various research projects in the field of metal forming, machining, and continuum mechanics. Up to this date, he has published more than 20 international and research papers in national and international journals, especially on the topic modeling of metal forming, machining, and constitutive relationships, and soft material. So, I can request Dr. Vinod Yadav sir to deliver his talk in our prestigious FDP.
Thank you, Dr. Yogesh, for inviting me and to delivering a lecture on finite element analysis of metal forming process in your FDP that organized by, supported by Atal IISc.
So you can do the full screen, sir.
Okay. So now I am starting my presentation. So yeah. So now the screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Okay. So now we have go proceed. So I am presently working in a Manet Bhopal. So this is our main building of Manet and department building. So in this presentation, we will discuss about the finite element method, then discussion about metal forming processes, And metal forming process is just having a flow formulation when we do the finite element method. So we'll discuss that one also. And apart from these constitutive relations used in metal forming process, then typical results of rolling, sheet forming, and layer forming. And further we'll discuss about the scope of research direction. So let us discuss what is first that what is FEM. So finite element method is a numerical method for solving a differential equations. So FEM method is widely used solid mechanics, especially in metal forming, fluid mechanics, heat transfer, electrostatics, and so on. So in basically the finite element method is required the physical problems which is having a boundary condition as well as initial conditions. And if variable is one, then we can say ordinary differential equations, or if a more than one variable, then you can say the equation is called partial differential equations. So the solution of partial differential equation is not getting easy task, but FEM is the alternative method which can provide the solution of PDE equations. So just we take, this is the example from solid mechanics. Suppose these are the beams, system of beams, and here we need some boundary conditions. And these boundary conditions and having a differential equation that is called Euler-Bernoulli beam equations. So here we need differential equation and boundary condition. Then these problems can be solved by FEM. And in this, for example, suppose we have a rod, and this rod is having a variable cross-sectional area. And if you want find the deflection at the free end, then you have to solve this rod problem, this governing differential equation. So we have a boundary condition. There is a Dirichlet or Neumann boundary conditions. We can solve this system of problem by FEM. So FEM is always wants differential equation or boundary conditions. Another example, suppose we have a heat transfer equations. So suppose we are heating a rod at one end and interested to find out the temperature field at some point extent. Then we have a from Fourier law, we have a differential equations and boundary conditions. And with the help of these system boundary conditions, this differential equation solved for finding out the temperatures. So basically, the finite element method requires 6 steps. One, pre-processing, computing the elemental equations, assembly, applying the boundary conditions, solution, and post-processing. So here the differential equations, if we have, then this differential equations should be converted into elemental equations. So sometimes that pre-processing, what is the meaning of that pre-processing? That geometry describes into a number of small elements that is called mesh generation. That is what in FEM you can say mesh. How many number of combination of nodes and element, that is called mesh. So pre-processing steps is called generation of mesh. Once you generate, then computing the elemental equations. So algebraic equations are found from each element. So there are 2 approaches. If differential equation is given to us, then directly we can discretize, or if direct FEM formulation is also a method to generate the algebraic equations. Then there are number of elements. So for assembly, you can number of elements, elemental equation, you can add it, then applying the boundary condition, then solution, then post-processing. So these are the things. So what is the meaning of pre-processing? Suppose this is a one-dimensional element. The whole domain you can divide into 3 elements. Here, so 2-noded element. Here you also the whole domain divided into 3 elements, but here is a 3-noded element. So it is up to you whether it is a 2-noded element, 3-noded element. Here also in 2-dimensional 3-noded element is called triangular element. And here in 2-dimensional you can say that is quadrilateral element because 4-noded element. So whole domain we have to discretize into number of elements. And this mesh is called uniform mesh because each element is having a uniform. And here also in 3-dimensional geometry, we can have a bricks element, 8-noded elements. So these are the, depending on the geometry, we can decide the elements. So suppose we have this problem, one rod is having, we want to apply a load. Then interested to find out the deflection at free end. So from strength of material directly you can get PL by A, but somebody is interested to find out the deflection at inner point. So considering a one-dimensional problem, the whole domain is divided into 3 elements, that is 2 noded elements. So total node is 4 and 3 elements. And each element is having a internal forces because Newton's third law will apply. So each force is having a tensile force also as well as compressive. So based on this physics, we can develop 2 situations. One is for that at each node, the force is acting as a tensile nature, and another thing as a compression nature. So based on this idea, we can are able to define that these equations. First, strain, change in displacement of an original displacement, that strain is divided, converted into stress, then force. So why force? This equation A and B can be written in a system of equations in matrix form. So we get a elemental equations. This elemental equations for ith and jth node. So in the previous problem, we divided into 3 elements. So here, these equations can be divided for element 1, for element 2, and for element 3. So 3. Now step 3 is called assembly. We want to assemble these equations. So these equations we want to assemble. So how we can assembly this? You see that we have a 4 variable u1, u2, u3, u4. We can assemble these equations. So this procedure is called assembly. Once we have assembled all the elemental equation, then we can apply the boundary conditions. So we know that at deflection this end, fixed end, the deflection is 0. So at node u1 is equal to 0 because displacement is 0. And at node 4, we are applying a force. So F4 is equal to P. So you can see over here, we apply, substitute that P over here, and U1 equals, so we have perturbated this -1 should be 0 because we are essential boundary condition. So here, this is called, then we can solve this system of equations. So we are able to get at nodal displacement at different points. So this is the first simple process, how we can go ahead by FEM. So this is the basic. So here the problem is considered as a 1 degree of freedom because at node only displacement is there. If suppose then this is called post processing. Once you get a displacement, then
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
now,
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
okay. So post processing. So here once displacement is got, then we find the strain, and when strain is got, by applying Hooke's law, we got a stress. This is called post processing. So this is the 6 steps which is need to follow by in finite element method. Suppose we take another example. Suppose we have a 2 degree of freedom. Then at node, suppose beam is having a 2 degree of freedom because at node deflection as well as slope is required. So here also the whole beam is there. This is fixed beam. In the center, in the upward direction, we are applying a load and find out the deflection and slope at the midpoint of this beam. So pre-processing, the whole beam is divided into number of elements and node. And we know that for any force is a linear elastic material, the Bi and G. So what happened that suppose this is the ith node and jth node, and it is having a load is acting and movement and deflection in theta. So we can divide into F is the force is A Bi C theta I plus C Vj, this one. So this equation we can linear, so we can divide into K1 K2. So like this Fi, Mi and Fj and Mj can be written in the matrix form. Now the task is this, how to find out this K11 K coefficient. So based on this strength of material relations, deflection and slope, we can use these 2 equations and convert them into matrix form. Finally, we get this EI is equal to K11, K12, K21 and K2. Similarly, others 12 coefficient we can find out, and finally we get these equations. And you see your this stiffness matrix we got from here. Once we obtain this, so we have a global equations. So we have a 2 elements. For element 1 is this, for element 2 is this. Then assembly. Assembly means you can assemble. So B1 corresponds to B1 and B2 corresponds to B2. So here you can see this B2 minus 12 and minus 12 this, and this is 12, this one, and this 12, and this 12 again will come because this 12 is corresponds to B2, and in this element also this 12 is correspond to this B2. So this will be assembled. So this will add. So like this assembly is going place. Then once you've done the assembly, your stiffness matrix is like this. Then you go for applying the boundary conditions. And we know that this is a fixed B, so slope and deflection at both the end is 0. So B1, B2, B3, and B. Only B2 and theta 2 is unknown. So in the previous equation, you can simplify it. So this equation is reduces to this matrix. Then we can solve easily. So find out the B2 and theta 2. This is the procedure for direct FEM methods. Now, in this method, we don't have a differential equations, but whenever the procedure of FEM for the problems, if governing differential equation is given. So how we can say, and we know that FEM is a numerical method for solving a differential equations. So any differential equation, we should convert into variational form. Then variational form approximate using the finite element method. This is the basic method, basic of FEM. So any differential equation should be converted into variational form. Now, how we can define the variational form? Let us consider this differential equation. This is the heat conduction in a rod in one dimension without heat generation is governed by this differential equations. Now, in this differential step 1, what happened that integrate this technique is this variational techniques. So variational method is applied to obtain the variational form. So here step 1 this, then integrate by parts twice, then step 3 apply the calculus of variation. Finally you get this, obtain the variational form in step 4. So whatever differential equation is given, we directly obtain the variational form. This is the technique now. So this is apply the calculus of variation, will get the variational form. Now, suppose what is concept of shape function? Shape function is what? The any rod we have divided, geometry divided into 3 elements, 2 noded 3 elements. Now here, suppose we assume that concentrate on this element, and this element approximating function is u is equal to a plus bx. When you say differentiate this function, because this is a 1 degree of freedom, so here the variational form of this problem is du by dx. The governing differential is double derivative. So here the differential order is reduced in the variational form. See here is double derivative. Now it is converted, it is reduced to first order derivative. So here we need, you assume any function which should satisfy du by dx as some value. So we assume the linear function u is equal to a plus bx. And this function should complete because du by dx is equal to b. It is not making 0. So it is complete. This is the way. So at concentrate of this element u1 at x is equal to 0. So you can say bx is 0. So u1 is equal to a. Then at x is equal to h, you get displacement u2. So you get this equation. Solving these 2 equations, you get b. Then u is equal to u1. You put the value of a and b. So this is b, this is a. Simplify, you get a n1 u1 plus n2 u2. So here n1 is called 1 minus xyh n2. This is called the simple concept of shape function depending on the geometry. So this is the demonstration for 1D elements. Likewise, we can extend for 2D or 3D geometry. Now, so in FEM formulations, basically there are 2 types of formulation. One is rich FEM formulation and another is Galerkin FEM formulation. Rich formulation directly works on variational form. Suppose somebody has a problem, given to problem, and that problem is having a variational form. So what we can do, we have apply the rich FEM formulation. If suppose differential equation is given, you don't want to go for variational form, then you can apply the Galerkin FEM formulation. So still people are using rich FEM or Galerkin depending on your choice or depending on the simplicity, we can employ both the formulations. So suppose this is the differential equations, it's given to us, and these are the boundary conditions. And here, first this differential equation converted into variational form. So already we discussed. So finally we get this differential equation is having a this variational form. Now you can see this dy dx. So it's a first order derivative. So we want to u with the approximation inside an n-noded element. So you can say n-noded element. So what happened? This is the basic procedures. What in FEM follow? Reprocessing, computing elemental equation, assembly, then apply boundary condition, solution, then post-processing. So here we are here computing the elemental equation, and rest of the procedure are same. So here this is the variational form. Now you can express u1, n1, u1, u2 like this n-noded element. So you have a n-noded. Then you can substitute this expression dy dx to differentiate here n1. n1 is equal to 1 minus xyh. So you can this n comma x is equal to dy dx. You substitute these values in this variational form. Then for estimating it, you can this one differentiate with respect to nodal value. And suppose you have a two element, 1 and node, 2 node and 3, then this problem can be divided into like this. We have a elemental equations. For another element also we will have another elemental equation. Then we do assembly, then we can apply the boundary condition, then we get a solution. So here assembly can be done, then apply the boundary condition at u1 is equal to 0. So because from the essential boundary condition, so u2, u3 displacement we get. This is called ridge FEM formulations. What about in Galerkin FEM formulations? In that all differential equation made RHS is 0. LHS is termed as a residual, and the residual can be multiplied by weight function. Then integration by parts, we get a big form. Then we assume some function. That function should completeness by based on the shape function, and then we apply the boundary conditions. So this is the basic procedures for Galerkin FEM formulations. Now, suppose this is the same problem. If we take about this rod problem, this is the differential equation, and these are the boundary conditions. Now, we want to apply a Galerkin FEM formulation. What we can do? This is the differential equation directly plus q make RHS is equal to 0. That is called residual. Residual is required to vanish in some average sense. So what happened? This multiply by some weight function into this R and integrate x to xe1 and equal to 0. Now here we apply some integration by parts. Once we apply the integration by parts, now we want to assume some function w1, where w is also expressed like a y. So y is equal to n1 and n1 u1, n1 y1 plus n2 y2 like as a w also, that is called weights. And put the here put the completeness, check it, then continuity, whether highest order derivative inside the integral is 1 or not. Then put the shape functions n1 and n2. This is the approximate function. Then substitute that variational form here. You can substitute here. Then once we can substitute and apply them, so we get this elemental equations. Similarly, we get for another element, assembly, apply the boundary conditions, and these are the terms for boundary condition. You can check. So once we get the solution at y1, y2, y3, different points of reflections. This is the Galerkin FEM formulations. Now, so basic background of finite element method is that whatever pre-processing is there, so you can divide into number of elements, whether it is a 2-noded, 3-noded element or 2-noded elements. Then u is equal to a plus bx you assume, and this apply the boundary conditions. So you get a u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2. So n1 and n2 are the shape functions because they give an idea about the shape of the approximating function. So in this case, it is a linear a plus bx. So here also n1 is equal to, this is called linear. Likewise. Now, suppose sometimes in beam problem, we have a dy dx also boundary condition. So here there are two types of functions used in Lagrangian function or Hermitian shape function. So depending on the degree of freedom at each node, we can choose any one of them. Then developing the elemental equations. So this is called differential equation, and this differential equation is make residual in Galerkin FEM, this one, then assembly procedure, develop elemental equation, then assembly procedure, depending on the geometry, finally you get this stiffness matrix. Then you can apply the boundary conditions here, solving the system of equations. Then this K matrix is called stiffness matrix, and applying this vector is called boundary condition, and this is a displacement, nodal displacement, and we can do post processing. This is the basic what in FEM finite element analysis is required. Now, suppose sometimes we talk about uniform and non-uniformness. Suppose this is the each element, this is the number of elements we can see over here. It is uniform, but here it is not uniform. So this is called non-uniform. Depending on your results, depending on the application of the problem, we can define that this one. And here also some correct problem is there. Suppose here this is the dot, here the coarse mass is there. This is called fine mass. Like that, it is fine mass, coarse mass element, depending on the situations. So now come to the application of finite element analysis in metal forming processes. What are the metal forming processes? Process that causes the change in the shape of the solid metal parts by plastic deformation, or you can say permanent deformations, are termed as metal forming processes. For example, that rolling process. So here what happened, that roll is rotating and the material is coming and it will be deforming over this region. So our point of interest is this: due to deformation of this material, what are the stresses, how much load is required, how much forces is required, what is the strain rate or strain distribution within the material. And this parameters will give about the quality of the material which is rolled. And other hand, you see extrusion. So material is pressing over at one end, it will be extruded in the form of rod. So what are the material properties, what are the stress distribution, what are things? So these are the FEM analysis will very much useful in metal forming process when you talk about this. And here the material is flowing. So this is called this one. And you can see open die forging, where this is the material, this is the die, we can apply a load, the material is deforming. So how much stress distribution is there? Similarly, for closed die also, if the closed die forging here, so we can see like that. And wire drawing process also, we have a rod, we apply, in between the die, we can apply the force, we get a diameter is reduced. So from AI area to reduce to AF. So how much forces is required? So this type of process can be analyzed by FEM method. On the other hand, in sheet metal forming process also, suppose this is the sheet and this sheet is converted into this cup, this form. How much load is applied? What are the stresses? What is the spring back effect? These effects can be easily studied by FEM methods. So here, and now in the last 20 years back, this process was invented. Suppose this is the sheet is straight initially, and I want to deform this sheet at some angle theta without applying a forces, mechanical forces. So here is some that laser forming process means what? We can apply some laser heat source over here, scanning path of this, and clamp the sheet at one end, and you can see this sheet is deforming. So without applying a mechanical forces, without applying the friction effect is very much dominant. So that by neglecting the friction effect, this laser forming process is also very much useful, and this process is very promising to deform this sheet. You can see why this sheet is deformed by experimentally. Apply the laser sheet at different scanning speed. You can see this much bend angle you can achieve it. So this process is very much useful for micro manufacturing also, micro deforming that. So this is the process. So now another metal forming process also used just for improving the properties of material, like severe plastic deformation process. People also call that SPD processes. Suppose you have a equal angular extrusion, we apply a load from here, the material is deforming here. By this way, your mechanical properties of the material can change. Just you are changing the shape and size. This is the way. Then high pressure torsion is also one method. You apply it, mechanical properties will enhance. Then accumulating roll bending process, ARB process also, take two sheets, roll together. Then also mechanical properties of this sheet is increased. So sometimes this process also called. But what is the purpose of modeling of metal forming process? Why we are talking about this modeling? There are different things, that power requirement, how much power is required, pressure in the die and tools, how much pressure will be required, stresses, strain distribution, strain rate distribution in the material during processing, because this process is a flow formulation process. So what is the strain, how about development of the strain rate and stresses. Then residual stress in the product. Residual stresses are those stresses when you apply a load, when you remove the load, some stresses are remainder within the material, and those stresses is called residual stresses. So this is play very much important. Then defects, what type of defects? There are different types of defects occurred in metal forming process. Geometric accuracy, then surface integrity, then mechanical and metallurgical properties, then microstructure. So here, these properties, this is the purpose why we need for metal modeling of metal forming processes. So just pre-FEM techniques, there are 4 or 5 methods which is also useful. That slab method. In slab method, what basically this method consider a force equilibrium approaches to find out the pressure. So here some slab is considered, and we can force equilibrium approach we can apply. So develop a differential equation. This differential equation we get solved by FEM. So thereby slab method is also used in finite element analysis. Slip-line field method is also required. This method is particularly used for rigid plastic material. Only the material is behaving like a rigid plastic. So when yield criteria is there, so there are 2 types of criteria, because metal forming is occurring plastic deformation. So there are 2 criteria. One is Tresca and one is von Mises criteria. This equation is satisfied. By this equation, we get stresses distribution at the then. So then we apply the equilibrium equations, and this equilibrium equation is differential equation. And in FEM, we want this differential equation, and we can solve it. And this is the continuity equation, because the material, the volume remains constant in metal forming process. So continuity equations is there. So these are the equations we can solve it using a find. So these are total unknown is 5 unknown, and we have a 5 equations. So we can solve it by FEM. By applying FEM, we get a stress distribution in the metal forming process. Any forming process, material is deforming, so we get a stress and velocity field Bx and By. This is simple insight that in slip-line field theory, we assume that some Mohr circle apply, because this method is applied for plane strain condition only. So alpha line and beta lines both are orthogonally to how material is behaved. So material is deforming by a shear plane. That's why it is called shear lines. So shear plane, the material is always deforming place by shear plane. Then applying a Hanke equations. These are the well-known equations metal forming to find out, to satisfy the boundary conditions. Then we can get it. So these are the simple problem. That one indentation problem is there. This is the load, this is the die, and you can apply it. So how material is deforming, these are the alpha and beta lines of slip-line field theory here. Another method is called upper bound method. Generally in upper bound method is required, suppose some material we want to deform it, then how much forces is required. So upper bound method will give you the maximum forces required based on that kinematic admissible field. So the rate of work done by the unknown surface traction is less than or equal to rate of internal energy. So upper bound method give you the maximum force is required to deform the material. And lower bound method is just opposite. It says that how much force, minimum force is required to deform the material. Means, if suppose somebody say, I want to deform this much material, then you apply a lower bound, it will give that, okay, minimum 10 Newton force you want to apply. So lower bound method says the minimum 10 Newton force is required, then only the material deformation is taking place. So these are the two methods, but metal upper bound method is most popular in metal forming process. Then somebody in viscoplasticity is also, this method combines the experiment and analysis both, that you can find the velocity field through the photographs of by performing some experiments. Then based on this information, we can give it, find out the stress and strain field or strain rate fields from the considered equilibrium and constitutive equation. So this method is called combination of experiments and theoretical. So this is called viscoplasticity also. Now, so governing equations for FEM models. So there are 5 things we need to focus. Suppose we want to do the FEM analysis of rolling process, or you can say forging, wire drawing, heap drawing, or bending process. So first of all, that continuity equations. So this is the volume remains constant. So this equation is a continuity equations. Then equilibrium equation, because forces are equilibrium. This is the static problem. So forces are equilibrium. So equilibrium equation is there. This is the equilibrium equation. Then strain rate velocity relations. Then incremental strain displacement relation. This is called deformation gradient and constitutive relation. So we always need to solve these 5 equations using for using the FEM analysis in metal forming process. Process dependent and material properties and different friction models. So one is called Lagrangian formulation. So Lagrangian formulation represents a more natural and effective approach. And then another formulation is called Eulerian formulation. Eulerian formulation is basically a constant volume process. So you see, in Eulerian formulation, the structural problem with large displacement, new control volumes have to be created because of the boundaries of the solid change continuously. So the non-linearities in the convective acceleration terms are difficult to deal with. So sometimes the Lagrangian formulations are more natural to apply. So here, suppose in Lagrangian formulation, the particle is deforming, and this particle is deforming from P to P prime at time t is equal to 0 to t is equal to tau. Then from tau is equal to tau plus delta t. So in Lagrangian formulation, we want to go by incremental deformation by seeing a particle path. So it one sense, it will be the updating. Likewise here, you can see updated Lagrange formulation. For example, this car is moving. So we always focus that car is moving, but it is moving from one distance to another distance. Similarly, in whenever material is deforming, we always think that some particle, where this particle is moving. So in this way, that updated Lagrangian formulation is there. But on the other hand, when Eulerian formulation, we have to focus like a bridge. We always focused on bridge, and bridge is static. Whoever is coming from this on the bridge, we are not bothering. We are just always focused on the bridge. So this type of approach is used in Eulerian formulation. So here, this inflow formulation, the primary unknown variables are from finite element analysis, the velocities, hydrostatic pressure at different location, that is called nodes, because we are every geometry is discretized into number of nodes. So here, this is the strain rate relation and velocity gradient, and here this is the Lévy-Massis plastic flow relation, because every stress is converted into hydrostatic stress and debuteric stresses. So these are the debuteric stresses. Then Lévy-Massis coefficient, and this is called sigma y. And sigma y, you can define some material model. So this is the flow stresses, and this is the equivalent strain we can find. Now, so here the continuity equations and equilibrium equations. So this is the continuity equation, this is the equilibrium equations here. So P is the hydrostatic pressure. So these equations are similar to Navier-Stokes equation, because in fluid mechanics that fluid is flowing, here the material is flowing. So the many researchers attempt to solve these equations for different metal forming process using Galerkin formulation. So there are 2 types of formulation, Rich and Galerkin, as we have discussed. So here the Galerkin is there. Then absence of pressure term in the continuity equation makes our method difficulty. So what happens, somebody has add some pressure in this continuity equation, and this lambda is called penalty parameter. And this approach is called direct penalty methods. By high value of lambda make the system of equation ill condition. So low values introduce approximation. So sometimes we have to deal with this numerical difficulty, and we apply some numerical methods like a house order method can be incorporated to handle ill conditioned system of equations. Then suppose this up to the background is we understood that what are the FEM analysis, how we can do it. This suppose this is the rolling process, and we know that this rolling process, the two rolls are there, and our deformation is taking place. In these deformations, what happened, that material is deforming. So we need to solve these equations, continuity equations. This is the relations for continuity equations. Then equation of motion, it is equilibrium equations. So equation of motion, these are the equation of motion if considering a plane strain. So it's two-dimensional rolling process. For isotropic rigid plastic metal, the constitutive equation is, this is the Dimitrov stresses is represented by sigma ij prime is equal to 2 eta 1 epsilon dot, where eta 1 is called Levi-Mises constant, sigma equivalent to 3 epsilon dot equivalent. And this sigma equivalent is nothing but it is called flow stresses. So sigma y k epsilon and strain hardening. This is the factor of strain hardening. Now in spite of this, this is called, you can say this is the no temperature dependency is there. So here there are number of empirical models are given in the literature, and you can use any one of them. So here, for example, we have used this much, and suppose we want to include the temperature dependency, then directly we can apply the Johnson-Cook material model. For this is machining, is more in metal forming also this is used, and strain rate dependency, then epsilon dot. So depending on the our requirement, we can apply this material model in this equation. Now this system of equations we want to solve it with the help of finite element method. How we can solve it? See, so we need weak formulation, because we are solving by Galerkin FEM formulation. So here each equations we can divide, make a weak formulations, then solve it, applying it. Then this whole geometry, so since we are considering this is the strip, likewise here, see this problem, we are not considering our roll, only we strip is considering. So this is the deformation zone CD. So here also you can see this CD and E. So total due to of symmetry, upper half portion is considered, and total 56 elements we have taken. This geometry is divided into number 4 noded quadrilateral element. Then so here 9 noded element is taken. So we have a shape function n1, n2 up to n9. So approximation of bx and by, because this is a two-dimensional problem. So bx is the velocity field in x direction, by the velocity in y direction. So we have a bx and by. This is called nodes. And for pressure, we have a 4 noded element. So for n1p, n2 for pressure. These are the approximate pressure velocity formulations we considered, and we are solving this problem by FEM. Then finally the details are given in this book, paper. So finally we get k epsilon these equations and apply the boundary conditions. So what are the boundary conditions? See over here in this problem, on the entry AB there is no, only velocity is moving, steady state rolling process there. So bx is equal to v1 and by is equal to 0, because the strip is not moving upper direction, only the strip is moving in this horizontal directions, longitudinal. Similarly on the exit boundary D also, this one you can see bx is equal to u2 u1, this relation is coming from geometry of the rolling process, and by is equal to 0. Likewise you can see that different region AB, BC, CD, D, EF and FA, all the boundary condition we have to mention depending on the physics of the problem, and details are given in this paper. And at the here the strip roll and strip is moving. This is the interface at BC. In this figure CD, here is BC we represent. So here this friction is there. How we can tackle this friction? So this boundary condition is there from Vy plus Vx, Vy cos theta plus Vx sin phi equal to 0. This phi is the angle, contact angle at this region. So these are the boundary condition. We apply those differential equation, then we get a solution. So suppose you can how much roll torque is required, then power required for plastic deformation, power required for overcoming friction at the roll interface, then power required due to tension. Suppose you are applying a tension also, then roll force. So once you do the PM analysis, then this is called post processing. So nodal solutions you get obtained, then you can apply the solutions. So finally, some typical results we obtained, that roll force, roll torque we obtained compared with this in this paper. It is results are given, so we can obtain the roll force and roll torque. Then one important is there. Numerical experts are very important. See over here, roll torque per unit width is always increasing, like in this figure. See, the way experimental also it is observed that when you increase the reduction, your roll torque or roll torque is increasing, is it in this fashion. But in this particular paper, they have reported in some way. So this is due to for numerical experts. So it is very important by doing a FEM analysis, numerical aspects we need to bother. Otherwise, your results will be wrong. So this is also very much important. And once you get, you see in deformation zone, we get a stress distribution. So by this is the advantage of FEM method. We get a deformation zone. We get in this deformation zone, these are the stress contour plots are there. So this is the stress distribution at different strain rate contours at different deformation region at deformation zone. Issue of friction. So since in rolling or in metal forming process, the friction is very tedious because directly you can see at this friction is model is given by Varnhem and Bay friction model, and here see that by increasing the friction factor, your relation between shear stress and normal stresses are like this is the non-dimensional by dividing the sigma by the yield stress of the material, but tau s is the shear stress and this is called normal stresses. You see at different friction factor m value, your behavior is different. So this is the tangential stress or normal stress. This is the model is very careful. Then suppose if you talk about the anisotropy, then also by FEM you are able to do the how much stress. See here m is equal to 1.5 and this 2. The stress contour plot of strain rates are totally different. So anisotropy effect is also included easily in FEM analysis if you do some residual equivalent stress contours are also there. So at different, so stresses are not constant. See, so all the stresses are there. This is the deformation zone of the strip. So stress is constant. That's why FEM analysis is very much useful in especially deformation process. Now, till now we have not talked about the temperature dependency. So if we include the temperature dependency also, then we call thermal modeling of process. So when this strip is there and this is the roller, so due to symmetry we have shown upper part only. So you see this material is deforming, and when this material is deforming, the heat is generated because the internal energy of the material is converted into heat energy, and this heat energy is hitting this roll surface. So thermal ground effect will be there. So proper thermomechanical modeling is very much important when we talk about this rolling process. So here the deformation being based on the Eulerian flow formulation, friction model is required, constitutive relation, that is flow stresses. We have seen different models, thermal parameters, what is thermal properties of the material, that thermal conductivity, specific heat because temperature is there. So this is the complete overview picture how we can go for thermomechanical deformation by using a FEM or abacus or analytical methods like this. So here modeling of bar rolling or hard rolling, you can go for deformation module, deformation analysis, then thermal analysis. Then people are doing sequential way. So there are two approaches. One is coupled, deformation and thermal you can couple it, or another is sequential. It means that you can sequential, means do the deformation analysis, then you can convert into then thermal analysis likewise. So some results we obtained that interface temperature rise. Suppose I have done this paper's detail, you can find out that somebody is interested to find out the temperature at this region particularly. So how we can find out this temperature? So you can see a different reduction of the strip. This is the already different reduction in rolling process. How much reduction is there? The temperature is increases at the interface. So this type of modeling is this give you clue about how the thermal modeling or thermomechanical modeling of rolling process is very much important to complete understanding of the process. Based on that, somebody is also interested to find out this thermal properties. How we can find out this thermal properties, because this deformation is there. So that one methodology you can find out this paper, and in mechanical science that this work is my part of my PhD work also. Here the main concern is that suppose this rolling process is going on, we do the thermomechanical analysis by FEM and put a temperature sensor at two locations. And based on this temperature sensor or feedback system can be measured the thermal properties without conducting the experiments in laboratory. So the methodology is proposed in particular this paper that we are successfully demonstrate the methodology how this conductivity of roll and conductivity of strip, convective heat transfer coefficient, means how much cooling is there at the outer surface of the roll, how much at the inner surface of the, because the roll is hollow roll is considered, and coefficient of friction. By measuring this, we are able to find. But for this, simply we do the parametric study, numerical parametric study, that at sensor 1 location, at sensor 2 location, we see by changing the thermal conductivity of roll, how temperature profile are changing. Then you can see at alpha are changing. Alpha is equal to thermal diffusivity of the material. So here alpha is changing, the pattern of the temperature distribution is changed when you are changing the thermal conductivity. So this idea will give a clue, okay, there is a unique solution, then how we can go ahead. So we have changed thermal conductivity of a strip. You can see here, whenever strip thermal conductivity is changing, the profile is changing. But you can, when talk about KR, the thermal conductivity of roll, you see over this. So this is the very much interesting result. And based on these results, we have developed the methodology to find out the thermal conductivity of roll, thermal parameters, friction coefficient without performing the numerical test. That's why modeling is very much essential. It reduces the experimental efforts. So these are the results. Then based on the parametric study, we identify that this parameters, this is the observation we noted. And this table will guide you to develop the feedback control system in rolling process. And suppose this is the experimental done at rolling process, that this is the rolling mill, and here this is the roller, upper roll, lower roll. We insert the strip and the strip will be deforming. And this picture is called rear side. See here, this strip is coming again without, it is reduces the thickness. And here two cameras are put because the temperature sensor we talk about. So that IR camera, temperature sensor. So whenever this strip is coming, immediately this camera will capture the temperature at different location of this strip. And this camera is the simple camera which also measure, this camera will measure the at what rate this strip is coming from this roll gap. So this camera, the velocity sensor, and these two sensors are very much required to demonstrate the methodology. And by experimentation, it was successfully demonstrated that this methodology is working at more than about 100% accuracy. So what are the overview? That suppose you have a direct model, that modeling, and you say guess the initial value of properties, friction, and you want to perform the experiments. By performing some experiments, we want to measure the temperature and slip. By direct model also, we get some. So you see here is the error is measured data between the computed and prescribed value. Prescribed means this is less than 1. So if it is there, then yes, otherwise no, then update the properties using optimization algorithm like this. So this procedure is repeated, and finally we get record the properties of mechanical properties and friction, then stop. So this is the methodology which has been developed and demonstrated. Sometimes when we talk about the computational, so people are saying that how much time is required that for computational time. So how we can reduce this computational time? So here some hybrid technology can be applied, some artificial neural network coupled with FEM, trained neural network, then it is, so why this way? So FEM model, then velocity field, location of neutral point, then trained neural network, NN model. Then NN model provide the velocity field and it is very fast neural network, then FEM model, then find the roll force, roll torque, etc. So this also hybrid methods will also useful to reduce the computational time. So I want to demonstrate. So till now what happened that we have discussed how we can do the finite element analysis by doing coding, means we can do the formulation, then we can apply write the code in MATLAB or Fortran or C++, any platform, then you can get the results. But nowadays what happened that most of the companies, there's ready-made softwares are there and we can use it, like ANSYS, you might heard that, then Abacus. But beside the Abacus, what is going on? This mathematics is going on. But these Abacus are mainly used by GUI based, graphical user interface. So I will show some examples on FEM simulation of sheet forming under plane strain conditions. So suppose that some sheet metal forming is there. This is the sheet and I want to manufacture, suppose this product can be manufactured. So these products can be manufactured by sheet metal forming, applying a load at certain points. So the applied forces stresses the metal beyond its yield strength, causing the material to plastically deform, so but not fail. By doing so, the sheet can be bent or stretched into variety of complex shapes. So this is the complex shapes we get. So what happened that in sheet metal forming, we need go for bending, roll forming, spining, deep drawing, stretch forming. So in this several process are, this is the roll forming, this is the bending. Suppose you can take pressure pad, apply a punch, the sheet got bended over here. This is the bite type. So in this way also. This is the spanning process. Suppose your metal is got deformed, is getting this shape. So you can apply, this is the arrangement of spanning process. This is called stretch forming. Take a sheet and apply a tensile force in between, you can like this, the sheet got stretched. In deep drawing process, what happened that we have a blank and here a holding force, blank holder is there. We apply a punch, this sheet will be deforming. So in this process also the sheet will be deformed. Let us take deep drawing process. So in deep drawing is metal forming process in which sheet metal is stretched into a desired part or shape. So here what happened, this sheet is this, we apply a forces. What are the forces? So here different zones are there. 1 second zone, here what are the stresses? Stress at different location in deep drawing process. So how much? So where there is some effect will also there. So how we can find out? So you see, so in finite element method, this is done on Abacus. Suppose initially you can consider the sheet by using at these dimensions, thickness, width, length. Then this is the punch final shape of your sheet. So this much cup we want to see shape bending in there of any material. Here you can say titanium material. So here this sheet. So what happened that due to of symmetry, because this symmetry, you can this symmetry only this part is need to be considered. So this part you can construct. This sheet is there, then punch, then blank holder you can define in a Abacus, and material model is this much. So here temperature dependency also you can include it. This theta or strain rate or strain, Johnson-Cook material model is there. These are the constants by different papers, and we can apply finite element that geometry and material properties they can input. Then you can see how this material is deformed. See FEM simulation. So in FEM, so at different increment time, you can find out this sheet is deforming. See over here, this. Likewise. See this sheet. So whatever the stresses are there, this is simulated at This work is done by my student at BTech students at here NIT Bhopal currently. So he has done this work. See this. Now, see at different contour plots of stress, different state, you can see how stress is variation at this region. So graph of stress variation with time means at particular location, how different. So in this one observation is also obtained that spring back minimization. Once you apply a load, see this seat is forming, and when you remove the load, once you remove the load, you can see some spring back effect will be there. So that should be minimized. See this much spring effect. So likewise you can see. So here 3D FEM also deep drawing process considering a 2D. So this is the deep drawing process what we have done. So apply a load, so you get this shape finally. And suppose another work is also done, we have considered this much geometric parameters. This is the material properties we consider, and we assume that plane strain condition. This is the seat, this is the punch, this is the blank holder. Apply it. So 2D axiomatic problem, you can apply it. So this seat will be, C part will be deformed. So you can see that how this stress distribution will be there at different time, different depth, different time, different depth. You can plot it, this contour plot, and this graph, these graphs are obtained by software. So this is the way what we can do it. So here we don't need that much mathematics, because the mathematics part will do by software. But here we want to know how to use that software techniques. So that much accuracy is also important. See, this is the another problems that equivalent. This is I've taken some paper that cup we have done. So these are the stress distribution that die assembly blank with holder applied holding force at different time. Now, another part which is I've discussed earlier also, that nowadays the metal forming process are in the advancement. So advanced metal forming process is called laser forming, laser bending process, because we don't want to go for tool and workpiece, because whenever deformation is there, so that tool will be contacted with the workpiece. So friction phenomenon is there. So if we eliminate this friction part, then your forces you can reduce drastically. So what happened that instead of mechanical force, we apply some laser heat, means thermal heat source we can apply, and we can get bended. So simple, you can apply scanning path is this laser head, you can move it, the seat will be bended if you clamp at one side. So these are the laser bending process, scanning across predefined path, rapid localized heating, because localized heating is taking place, and thermal stress interaction will be there. So that now, so in laser bending, three mechanisms is there. One is called temperature gradient mechanism, and upsetting mechanism, and buckling mechanism. So easily one by one, suppose this is the temperature gradient. So when you apply a heat source on the seat, the temperature gradient will take place. So the seat will be, in after some time, that will be this shape. When you cooling, so this is called isothermal expansion, when thermal contraction is taking place during cooling. So initially the band will move, take this concave shape, but after it will get convex shape. So due to of this, thermal stress interaction will be there. See over here in this top and bottom, then reverse. Finally you get this shape. So this phenomena is occurred in TGM, or temperature gradient mechanism. Another approach is called buckling mechanism. When you apply a load, if your laser beam is too much diameter, then the seat becomes this buckle, seat becomes buckle. So this phenomenon is called buckling mechanism. And upsetting mechanism is that your heat source at the seat, thickness of the seat is too much, like this. So you can see this, this is final shape. Initially you get this. So seat is become, some expansion is taking place. So this phenomena is called upsetting mechanism. But in general, in laser bending, this phenomena is more dominating, TGM. If you select the geometric parameter such that your temperature gradient mechanism is taking place. So depending on the seat, if you thick seat, then upsetting mechanism. If you are having a large laser beam diameter, then is a buckling mechanism. So these are the three mechanisms are possible in the laser forming process. So in laser forming, what happened that see that laser is moving from one end to this end, and you get this much angle. So it includes bending, forming, shortening, and thickening by laser irradiation. Tool and dies presses are not required. This is very much in metal forming. Always tools in conventional metal forming, tools and dies are required. But here, no. Seed plates, foil pipes can be processed. Pipe can also be bended by applying a laser heat source. So suitable metals, it will work on metals, non-metal also, ceramics, composite, and polymers, etc. So this is the way. See, this is the initially the seat is like this. By applying a heat, this angle you can get. The seat is bended by single pass. If you apply a multi-pass, means several times you can apply this laser heat source on a predefined path. You will see how much angle is increased. See over here. So this is called multi-pass. So advantage is there. Spring back effect is not there. But we have seen in this deep drawing process, spring back effect is there. So we can minimize the spring back effect by taking this process. Complex shapes can be easily formed in accessible areas. Accurate microforming. If you want to deform less than 1 mm, then you can say microforming also can be done. Expansive hard tooling not required. Energy efficient due to localized heating, EGT control, and processing of brittle materials. So, but disadvantage this small deformation per pass. So process is slow. So it is also a chance. It is a scope how to make efficient this process. So this is the several things we can do. So here heat source is there. We can apply. So what are the heat flux model? So this is Gaussian. There are different uniform heat flux model, volumetric heat flux model, Gaussian heat source. So depending on their things we can employ over here during our modeling. Then whenever the heating is there, so cooling is also taking place. So convection loss can be encountered by this equation. Radiation loss can be encountered by these equations. Then, so you see over here when apply a load, so laser process parameters are laser power, scan speed, at what speed this laser head will move. Beam geometry means at what is the radius diameter of this beam, laser beam. And material proper parameters, absorption coefficient, thermal properties, mechanical properties. Likewise this, and geometry and external constraint, that is clamping. So these are the things what we need to, this is called process parameter of laser forming and parameters affecting the laser forming process. Suppose this is done by ANSYS, some software, this ANSYS FEM software, this is the seat, we can divide it into number of elements. This is the local. So here we want to apply a heat source at this local cylindrical coordinate systems, and we should want to clamp it over at one side. And this is the element model. This is the material model. Shipbuilding material model is considered D36, and temperature dependent properties we have given. Then apply the boundary condition, determine the temperature at each node, and you can see over here. So this is the clamp and yield criteria we consider. Then apply the heat source. So these are the things, and this is the steps we need to follow. Steps, then define element type, then modeling the geometry, then meshing, then apply the thermal boundary conditions, load, then specify time, then thermal end step, then moving heat source. If no, then again you apply this. So this is the flow chart of simulation process. So there are things you can do your own coding, or if you want to use software, then you have to apply these step by steps. Then only the final results we can obtain. See, finally the seat, the temperature is we obtain this seats. This is the heat source model that, and this is the displacement. This is the strain displacement. You see over this seat is got banded. Then finally the seat is what? So here the seat is clamped. So there is no displacement. Here the displacement is there. So this much angle we can measure it, how much deformity. So each node we can measure the reflections. So based on this, some parametric study also conducted, that effect of velocity means at which. So if you increase the velocity, it means that you are in that peak of the temperature is increases, because when temperature, so no cooling will take place when speed is fast. So temperature, peak temperature is increasing. But after that, that or more or less temperature becomes steady state at some difference. So this you can see the scanning speed at what optimum speed you can consider. Then jet displacement, how much displacement that seat will be bended. So at high speed, the seat will be bended more. So see that 50. So that is that depending on the situations we can see. So these are the laser forming process parameters. One is for energy parameter, laser power, feed rate means scanning speed, and laser beam spot diameter, number of skins. Material properties, the absorbability means whenever you apply a heat source, how much that material, that heat source is converted. So thermal energy. So absorbability of the material also play an important role. Thermal properties, then mechanical properties. So these are the things what it was. Now, so Abaqus also to analyze the deformation behavior in laser bending, the process work mainly includes following steps. Develop the geometry and defining the material properties. So first of all, you define the geometry, then given the material properties, then define the boundary conditions. Then modeling of laser heat flux, which includes the heat flux intensity, beam diameter, scanning speed, and scanning path. Then generate the appropriate mesh. Then set the solution methodology. So these are the steps which is required in FEM analysis. So here, these things we can do: thermal mechanical boundary condition, geometric modeling, material properties, given a FEM based transient thermal analysis, then find out the transient temperature distribution, then FEM based transient mechanical analysis. So this process is called sequential analysis. Means first you do the thermal, then we can do the mechanical, then finally you get a result. If both will be coupled, then you can say coupled thermomechanical analysis. So suppose this is a seat, this is the geometry, create the geometry in the software in Abaqus, and finally FEM mesh of the seat. So here you see here the element is bigger, but here is small element. So this mesh is called fine mesh, and here the coarse mesh, because our interest is here only to apply heat source. Here is nothing. So we can, by reducing the number of elements, it directly impact on computational time. So we can reduce it. Now, so this is the develop the geometry, define the mechanical properties, generate the mesh, we can mesh it, then modeling of heat flux, laser heat flux. So here Gaussian heat flux, that beam diameter, you can assume it, that Gaussian, then finally you get a results. You can see over here, when heat source is here, this at this point, so temperature is maximum here, but when it reaches up to this region, the seat got bended. See over here, initially no bending is taking place, but whenever the heat source is moving from this point to this point, the heat source, the bending is taking place. So seat got bended. So this is the things what we need. Then what are the stress distribution? Von Mises stress distribution, you get it. So this will give it. Then see this much bending angle is there. So plastic strain will be there. So more or less, see every part you can get no plastic strain, but bending is taking place from this region only. That's why plastic strain is maximum at this region. See, but seat got bended. See over here. So this is the way what. So causes distortion in the skin region, resulting the bug seat bending, which can be observed in this picture. This is the post processing. View animated results. Whatever results we have seen it, then plot it. Then magnitude in line with your expectation. Then view stress in quality or C. So these are the things what you get. Extract the figure from Abaqus or ANSYS to publish a paper. So this process is also very much helpful to represent your results. So finally you get the seat is bended. We have compared these results, that experiment somebody has done, and by simulation also same results we have. So almost within 5% error we get it. So why this will say that your simulation results are validated. Then we can do some parameter study also depending on things. And see that's temperature at point T1, then point T, so heat source reaches at here, then hit here. Corresponding you see seat is also taking bending. Here no bending, here some partial bending is here. Finally see this temperature. So these are the observations easily we can observe in the software. So that Abaqus, these are the results which contour plots will obtain. So challenges and research status in laser forming, process modeling and optimization, study the metallurgical aspect. Still this area is blank. So what are the microstructure changes by applying by deformation is taking place? Then study of irradiation studies at which predefined path it is decided. Development of efficient and portable laser systems. Feedback control system also required for precise and control laser forming process. Development coating. Suppose you apply coating, then what about the material absorbability? So these are the things that research people are doing. And you see, this is the inverse laser bending process. Curvilinear linear laser bending people have done work. Then multi-pass laser bending people also doing the laser assisted bending. Means you apply a laser and apply a mechanical force. Then also your results will be much better than the laser bending. So the force cooling, because the heat transfer is there, then shape generation, then apply a soft computing technique, then optimization, then inverse analysis also, like in a rolling process we have discussed. Similar methodology can be employed in this process also. In rolling research in area in metal forming by FEM, this computational techniques, we can work in that. Then constitutive behavior, different material models. Then surface roughness, what about the surface roughness? Then tribology, friction related things, and microstructure. So these are the things that research direction requiring for special attention of this. These are the standard textbooks which I have referred related to FEM modeling and metal forming process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a nice and informative talk. You started just from the fundamentals of finite element method, and again you go with the advanced forming processes. And I'm personally thank you to give such a kind of lecture. And first of all, sir, in the question and answer session, I would not like to ask you one thing that is about the what is actually significance, how we can integrate the mathematics and the coding for modeling this metal forming process. Because on the other hand, nowadays commercial software packages are available. So if we are having a sound knowledge of the physics of the problem as well as the mathematics, underlying mathematics, so how we can integrate, how we can work, because I'm also from metal forming. I have done FEM simulations using Abacus mostly for sheet metal forming processes as well as for the rolling process. So because our especially my mathematics and coding part is poor, so how we can improve on, how we can integrate this?
See, the results you have worked in Abacus simulation part, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so in whatever things that in Abacus backside is going on, we don't know, just
yes,
black
sir.
box.
Yes, yes.
So if we understand that physics of the problem is clear, then we go for modeling by in-house coding. Means we do the formulation. So for that, we first understand the FEM methods. So FEM method is separate subject, and metal
Yes,
forming is separate. So first you understand the method, finite element method. There are
yes,
6 steps is what I have discussed. So
yes,
we
yes.
have a differential equation, then apply the differential equation, Galerkin FEM formulation, Ridge FEM formulation.
Yes,
So
sir.
for simple problem, you take beam problem. For beam problem, you need a coding.
Okay, sir.
And after that, you can solve this differential equation, then weak formulation you obtain, then safe function, then easily you can do it. So initially what happened that it's consider only one element.
Okay, sir.
Then you can go for number of elements, is it? So these things is required.
So I have studied this finite element method in my MTech as well as in PhD.
Okay.
But when we do the simulation work, so that time we will forget about the mathematical modeling and the coding. Okay. One thing you have also discussed that is very new to me, that is the laser bending processes, because I have done my PhD on stretch flanging process, because it is a conventional form of process.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now I request all the participants to ask their relevant questions to this presentation. one by one. So you can unmute yourself and ask the relevant question. We will take only a couple of questions because we have to start the next sessions also. Is there anyone want to? So I will read from
Dr.
the chat
Yogesh,
box.
Dr.
Sir.
Yogesh, 2 questions are in the chat box.
Yes, sir. So you can answer from that one.
One question was this: why is the sensitivity analysis is used and how it is performed?
Yes, sir.
Basically, sensitivity analysis is that suppose we have a process parameter, and there are if we have a if we increase one parameter, then what will be the results affected? So that is called sensitivity analysis. Tell that process parameter is how this input parameter is related to the output parameter. Is it? That is called sensitivity analysis. I hope it is clear. And another question Nikhil Bharat has asked that for machining purpose like turning and milling, how we can apply FEM in that case, especially in laser assisted machining. It is very like this, that similar in other machining process, whenever talk about laser, so it means that laser indirectly come into the heat transfer. So we need to model that heat flux in the machining. So by suppose in conventional turning is there, then you apply the laser heat source also. So whenever this laser heat source come into the picture, it means that this complete modeling of process is called thermomechanical. So we have to deal with heat transfer. So in that way we can apply.
Yes.
Okay then.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope it is clear then.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Yogesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So actually, I am a moderator in an online FDP event, so we can talk on the evening.
Okay, thank you. Then shall I leave now?
Yes. Anybody want to ask any question? Vinod, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
one is significance of FEM in medical applications.
Yes, yes. Another question also came that in vivo biomedical application. So first of all, that in biomedical, whether you are related with equipment or that other parts, soft materials. So FEM is also playing a very much picture because you can see that hip joint FEM analysis in literature you can find. So it is very much significant if you apply FEM in biomedical field also. But however, the process is simple. Process is similar, what we have discussed here.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question is how to model composite materials in FEM.
Actually, in FEM, we want to create a geometry. Then whenever we are giving a material properties, so when you consider whole geometry as a one section, then it's called isotropic material. But whenever the composite material, so we have some material properties are varying with some function, exponential, logarithmic, power. So that function we have to provide in FEM analysis. That suppose thermal conductivity of the material is vary by exponential. So that function we have to provide there, and it is vary from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. It means in length direction 0 to L, the thermal conductivity is varying by exponentially. That function we need to incorporate it there.
Any more question from any participant? You can unmute yourself and ask directly if you want. So no more questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for
everyone.
such a very nice presentation and talk. And thank you. First of all, you have accepted my invitation for delivering such a nice lecture. And personally, I am very benefited from your talk, sir, because I am also working in metal forming, especially in sheet metal forming. My PhD in sheet metal forming from MNIT Bhopal. So I will contact you later personally, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Yogesana. You are invited, and I very much thankful to you and your organizations as well as Atal ICT program society.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You can, if you want to leave, you can leave, sir. So the next session will start by 2 p.m. Okay. The session 2 will start by 2 p.m. Okay. So I will intimate you in the group. The link for the session will be same. You can join at 2.